My girlfriend had photos of me in places I've never been. Her explanation about parallel universes has me questioning everything I know. Storytime. My girlfriend and I have been together for almost 3 years. We met through mutual friends, hit it off immediately, and have been practically inseparable since. She's always been a bit mysterious, the artistic type with an old soul, as my mom would say. But what I discovered has left me questioning everything I thought I knew about her and, honestly, about reality itself. It started innocently enough. We were lounging on the couch last Saturday night, scrolling through our phones after dinner. She asked me to check a text from her sister while she was in the bathroom, since they were coordinating plans for their mom's birthday. Nothing unusual there. We've always had an open phone policy, not out of distrust but convenience. When I opened her messages, I noticed her photo gallery was open in the background. I was about to close it when something caught my eye. A folder simply labeled Before. Curiosity got the better of me, and I tapped on it. What I saw made my blood run cold. There were dozens of photos of places I recognized. Our favorite coffee shop, the park where we had our first date, even the street outside my apartment building. But everything looked wrong. The coffee shop had a completely different color scheme and name. The park had structures and pathways that don't exist. And my street? The building across from mine wasn't there at all. Instead, there was an old Victorian house I've never seen before. Most disturbing were the photos that seemed to include me, but not me. In one, someone who looked exactly like me was sitting at our usual table in the coffee shop, but I was wearing clothes I don't own, with people I've never met. In another, I was standing in front of my apartment building, but the building itself looked completely different, more run down, with graffiti that isn't there now. The timestamps on these photos predated our relationship, some going back 5 years. I heard the bathroom door open and quickly put her phone down, my mind racing. When she returned, she must have seen something in my expression because she immediately asked what was wrong. I saw the photos, I said, my voice barely above a whisper. The Before folder. Her face went completely pale. She sat down slowly, hands trembling slightly as she took her phone back. I never wanted you to see those, she said after a long silence. Not yet, anyway. What are they? I asked. Some of them look like me, but that's impossible. I've never been to those places like that, never worn those clothes. She took a deep breath. This is going to sound crazy, she said, but I need you to listen to the whole thing before you say anything. What she told me next has turned my world upside down. According to her, she's not from here, not in the sense of another country, but another reality. She claims to be from a parallel world, nearly identical to ours, but with subtle differences. In her world, we met 5 years ago, not 3. We were together for almost 2 years before the shift, as she calls it. She says that in her reality, there was a catastrophic event. She wouldn't specify what exactly, just that it was the end of everything. She claims to be part of a small group who found a way to shift between parallel realities when their own was collapsing. The photos were taken in her original reality, including ones of her with the other me, the version of myself that existed there. I found you again, she said, tears streaming down her face. It took me months of searching, but I found you. You're different in small ways, your career choice, some of your memories, but you're still you. Still the person I fell in love with. I sat there, stunned. My first thought was that this was an elaborate prank, or worse, that she was having some kind of psychotic break. But the photos, they were too real, too detailed to be faked. And some showed places and buildings that have been gone for years, according to local history. Why didn't you tell me? I finally asked. Would you have believed me? She countered. And even if by some miracle you did, would you have been able to look at me the same way? Or would you have always wondered if I loved you for you? Or because you remind me of him? I didn't have an answer. I still don't. She showed me more evidence. Journals documenting differences between her world and this one. Small objects she claims came with her that don't quite match our manufacturing methods. Most convincingly, she knew things about me that I've never told anyone. Childhood memories, family secrets, fears I've barely acknowledged to myself. In my world, we had more time together, she explained. You told me everything. It's been a week now. I've barely slept, spending nights researching parallel universe theories, quantum physics, anything that might explain what she's told me. Some of it actually supports her claims, at least theoretically. I don't know what to believe. Part of me thinks this is an elaborate deception, though I can't imagine why she would create such a complex lie. Another part wonders if she truly believes this herself, if she's experiencing some kind of delusion that feels real to her. But then there are the photos, the impossible knowledge. The way certain things about her have always seemed slightly out of sync with the world, expressions she uses that no one else does, her occasional confusion about events everyone else remembers differently. I haven't told anyone else. How could I? They'd think I was as crazy as I sometimes fear she might be. We're still together. I still love her. That hasn't changed. But everything else has. I look at strangers on the street and wonder if they too might be refugees from another reality. I find myself studying familiar places, looking for inconsistencies that might reveal the truth. She says there are others like her here, that they find each other through coded messages and secret signs. She's offered to introduce me to them, to show me more evidence. I haven't decided if I want that yet. Last night, she asked me a question that keeps echoing in my mind. If you could know for certain that I'm telling the truth, would it change how you feel about me? I told her no, and I meant it. But the truth is, it has already changed everything else. I don't know what to do next. Am I crazy for even considering her story it might be true? Or would I be crazy to dismiss it when the evidence, impossible as it seems, is right in front of me? Has anyone else experienced anything like this? Any advice on how to process something that challenges your entire understanding of reality? Update 1, 3 days later. First, thank you to everyone who responded. I wasn't expecting so many comments, and I appreciate those who took my post seriously instead of just telling me my girlfriend is delusional or that I'm making this up. A lot has happened since my original post. I decided to meet some of the others she mentioned. She took me to what looked like an ordinary support group meeting at a community center downtown. About 8 people, varying ages, sitting in a circle of folding chairs. They greeted her warmly and me cautiously. For the first hour, it seemed like any other support group. People discussing adjustment difficulties, feelings of isolation, coping mechanisms. Then they started sharing specifics. One elderly man described watching the moon shatter in his original reality. A woman my age talked about a world where digital technology took a completely different path. No smartphones or internet as we know them, but advanced biotechnology instead. What struck me wasn't just the content of their stories, but the consistency between them. They referenced events and phenomena that connected in ways that would be difficult to fabricate on the spot. They had inside jokes and shared terminology that seemed to have evolved naturally. My girlfriend hadn't told them much about me beforehand, just that I knew. Several seemed genuinely surprised when I mentioned specific details from what she'd told me, confirming those same elements existed in their memories too. One man pulled me aside afterward. He said he'd been here for almost a decade, having shifted before the others. Your mind will try to rationalize this away, he told me. That's natural. But ask yourself, which explanation requires more assumptions? That multiple people independently created the same elaborate delusion with consistent details, or that what we're telling you has some basis in truth? When we got home, my girlfriend showed me something she'd been keeping hidden, a small device about the size of a pocket watch. Its design was like nothing I've seen before, with components that don't match any technology one recognizes. She claims it's how they navigate between realities, though it no longer functions in our world. The physics are different here, she explained. Subtle differences, but enough that some technologies from my world don't work properly. I asked if I could take it apart to examine it. She hesitated but agreed. Inside was circuitry unlike anything I've seen, and I've built computers as a hobby since I was a teenager. Some components seemed to be made of materials I couldn't identify. I'm still processing all of this. I've started documenting everything, comparing her stories with historical records, looking for inconsistencies. So far, I've found none that can't be explained by ordinary memory distortion that we all experience. The rational part of my brain still screams that this can't be real, but that explanation is becoming harder to maintain in the face of what I'm seeing and hearing. I asked her if she misses him, the other me. She started crying and admitted she does sometimes. But you're you, she said. Different experiences, slightly different choices, but fundamentally the same person. I didn't fall in love with you because you remind me of him. I fell in love with you because in every reality, you're someone I can't help but love. I don't know if that makes things better or worse. I'm going to meet with more of her people next week. They've offered to show me more evidence, artifacts, documents, recordings they managed to bring with them. Part of me is terrified of what I might learn, but I need to know. If what they're saying is true, it changes everything we think we know about reality. If it's not, then I'm falling deeper into a shared delusion that I may never find my way out of. I'll update again after the next meeting. Thank you to those who offered support and rational perspectives. I need both right now more than ever.